Hello everyone, I'm Josh Garrett, and in this video I'm going to be talking about the two battles of Marnes. There was the first Battle of Marnes and the second Battle of Marnes. First, let's look at the first Battle of Marnes. Why did the first Battle of Marnes even happen? Well, it was part of the Schlieffen Plan. This plan was made to be put to use when a situation arises when Germany had to fight on two fronts. The reason they might have to fight on two fronts is because if they had to go to war with Russia, which they really wanted to get some of its territory, then Russia's ally, France, might start interfering and also would start aiding the Russians, which means they would have to fight the war on two fronts. So the Schlieffen Plan was to go to France, get a quick victory, sort of maiming the French, and then going back to Russia and earning a victory. They estimated that Russian troops would take around 6 weeks to mobilize, and they actually predicted it correctly. But there was one problem. There was a line of defenses along the French and German border, which made it hard to invade the French. And so the Germans invaded through Belgium, making a path route from Germany to France. Now Britain was furious as Germany invaded neutral Belgium, and because of that, Britain also declared war on Germany and started helping the French. Now the Germans had won two wars, the Battle of Mons and the Battle of the Frontiers. After losing the Battle of Frontiers, the Allies started to run and the Germans pursued them. The Allies ran until they reached the river Marne, and there they stopped, and the French decided to supply a lot of its men by integrating military reserves into the army and also adding the eastern flank into the army. Now the Allies outnumbered the Germans, so now the Germans had caught on and started advancing towards the Allies. As the first German army was advancing though, they exposed their right flank, and flanks are weak spots in armies, and so the Allies decided to use advantage of it and started an offense against the German First Army. So the German First Army twisted around to fight them head on, but while they were doing that, they exposed a gap between their first and second armies. Basically, if a gap opens up, the Allies could use it to their advantage, encircle them or surround them, and slowly start chewing them out from the outside. Fearing encirclement, the Germans retreated and started building trenches. So the Allies did the same, and that was the start of trench warfare. And that was also the end of the first Battle of Marnes. Now, Germany started planning an offensive against the Allies. This offensive was made as a distraction so that they can lure in the Allied troops at the north, and once they're lured in, the Germans can launch an offensive there and fully ending the World War I. But the Allies got to know of this offensive and prepared. First, they made some decoy trench lines at the front to fool the Germans and making them waste their artillery on the fake front lines. And 40 minutes before the German offensive was launched, the Allies launched an attack of their own, using artillery to bombard the German front lines. And so the Germans launched their own offensive. So the Germans started their offensive. They kept bombarding the decoy French trench line. And once all the bombardment was over, the German soldiers got out of their trenches and decided to invade the French trench lines. But they did not know that that was just a fake trench line and not the real one. They were surprised to see that the actual front trench lines were still active, and they started gunning the Germans down. And so the Germans got a message from their commanders to retreat, rest and regroup. And so that was the Allies' victory at the Battle of Marnes. But they needed to launch a counterattack themselves as well. And so they planned it out. There was a rumor that the Allies had put fake Allied counter-attack plans in a truck and made it look like it had fallen over on a German bridge. And because of this, the Germans took that and adjusted their plans according to the Allied counterattack. But the Allied counterattack plans were fake, and the Allied launched their counterattacks somewhere else, penetrating the Germans, and that was the start of the 100-Day War, which is hundreds of victories for the Allies. It's funny how technically the first Battle of Mons was the starting of World War I, and the second Battle of Mons technically finished the Germans. Well then, thanks for watching my video. If you liked my video, please like and subscribe. Bye.